Hey guys, this is Tom Hanks. Welcome to another stream. Today we will do the second race in the 2004 Analogue Supercars Challenge. I'm going to be firing up BeamNG in just a second. And to recap, in race number one, we had IMKR with his with his very fast car that had a rather meme name. Coming in first after also getting maximum points for styling, so he is going to be pretty hard to catch, but never say never. So all right, let's get into it. BeamNG should be showing up for you guys in a second here. Now what I'm gonna do here, the second race, by the way, is going to be here on the Nürburgring on the GP circuit. And what I'm going to do here, first of all, I'm gonna drive my own car and the two disqualified cars, and then I'm gonna get the two cars out of the way that came last in the first race, because they were effectively just sideways everywhere. So for a little bit of fun to start us out with, I'm gonna drive those first and then get into the more serious competitors, if you will. Okay, yeah, the rear engine is a little bit tricky through a chicane like that. Especially because that right-hander of that chicane does actually tighten. Hey DJ, how are you doing? And by the way, I'm sorry if the stream is slightly laggy at times, because this map is just kind of laggy. Don't really know why, because as you can see, apart from the actual tarmac, the rest of the map is not exactly detail rich. Hey, Deuce the Truth. I just started, so this is my own car to serve as a bit of a warm-up. And of course we will also drive the disqualified cars as a bit of a warm-up as well as the two I'm just gonna call them drift cars, because that's effectively all they were last time. They were both front-engined and could have probably done with having half as much power as they did. Don't get me wrong, we had front-engine cars that did well in the competition, but there were also two that did not perform well at all, because they simply couldn't handle the horsepower that they had. Ooh. A little bit sketchy there. Let's brake like there. Pretty much spot on. To 20, to 21, to 22.4. Okay. Don't ask what that is in place 1 there. I would be seriously surprised if anything gets close to that. So let's get on with the disqualified cars. I just forgot to clear the leaderboards before the stream, so that's why you see a car in P1 that is not actually competing here. This one was disqualified because it has plus 14 in aerodynamics, and you can only use plus 5 equality per category. And I informed the... actually, this was already his resubmission, and that did not meet the rules either, so tough luck. It has ultra short gearing, but somehow it actually works. It's got a ton of downforce. So I'm thinking this will probably do well at Spa. But this track here has a lot more like mid-range, mid-speed corners. And like tight corners like this one that's coming up here. Wow, the brake performance on this is actually amazing, because it has so much downforce. No problem taking that flat out, but early on the brakes there, because again I underestimated how powerful they were. To 20.8. So obviously if it's disqualified, so this time doesn't mean anything, but if it were competing, this would actually be a pretty good car. Also, this one, this was disqualified because it has too much overall quality. Only plus 20 total positive quality is allowed, and this one has plus 25. I pinged the user, asked them to resubmit, but, you know, didn't happen. So they actually still had, I think, 3 days when I told them that, so there was plenty of time to resubmit, but anyway. It's good enough to get a bit of a warm-up in. I think... This does not feel as nimble, as agile as the previous car. Feels a little bit more understeery. Okay, that was my mistake. I looked at chat at the wrong time. That's why you don't, like, read messages and drive at the same time in real life, isn't it? Though, admittedly, usually you don't go at, like, you know, 200 kilometers an hour when you're looking at your phone or whatever in real life. Like, if you do that, then you deserve to have an accident. Let's brake like here. Bit early on the brakes there, but I'd rather make it around in one piece than not. Still alive. Early on the brakes again. Seems to be a theme with this car. So again, like the time that I said with this actually doesn't matter because this is a disqualified car. I could have gone quicker had I not, you know, pretty consistently missed the braking point and been far too early. So yeah, whatever. Now let's get the two cars out of the way that will have no say whatsoever at the top spots, which is this, the Osoni Max Q and the Wohlhaben Tourenklasse, because both of them did a 2:18 on the automation track last time, whereas the winning time was a 1:59. So they were 19 seconds behind first place. I don't think that's going to change too much here. For that reason, and just to, you know, entertain the crowds. Let's do a bit of sideways action here. Like, you can't actually not go sideways in this. Almost drifted through that corner close to racing line, but I botched it at the end. Okay, there I completely messed up. Missed the drift entry, then couldn't get it sideways in time, and then understeered off. So, like as I said, this car would never be competitive anyway. Okay, and the brakes are gone. Let's reset this lap. But this car would not be competitive even if I tried to drive it clean like I did on the last track. So there's no harm in deliberately like going sideways. I hope I never have to drive this thing. Well, you don't, unless you ask either me or Edsel to send you this car. I mean, even then you don't have to drive it. But yeah, brakes are gone already. But we still have like a minute or so left. So yeah. See, even there in third gear. I mean, we got some nice drifts out of it. Okay, here, let's try and actually not go sideways, because I'm kind of terrified going sideways at like 120 mile an hour, whatever that was. 110. Let's just finish this lap here. Okay, and the other car, and the other such car that's in the same boat as this was the Wohlhaben Tourenklasse. Again, just way too much power. 6-liter twin-turbo V12, 643 horsepower, but like 900-ish Newton meters of torque. No way of putting down the power. Lap record breaker, yeah, the negative record. AKA it's the slowest car ever tested, so yeah, it's got that. But let's see what this car has to say about that, because this did come last on the automation track. We would have to spin it, I think, in order to match the other one, though. Okay, here I was actually trying to go clean through there. Yeah, and that's the crazy part, like... There was a front-engine car that made over 1,000 horsepower and was able to manage its power much better than this or the last car. And so, hats off to the creator. I can't quite read the spreadsheet at the moment. I'm sort of trying to survive here, but I'll tell you in a second who made the other car. Got some nice drifts out of this one. $239.28. So not last place today. The other one was by Cherry Pie. It was the Gilbert 539R. That one did actually do very well. Hang on, give me a second here. So I'm gonna enter these times real quick now. So the Wohlhaben Turn-Klasse did a 239.28, and then the Ozoning Max Q did a 251.474. So yeah, I'd be surprised if either of those two are gonna score today, but let's get on with the actual competitors. So the 98 FNS Pari Turbo R by Tez is up next. This just feels miles faster than the last two cars, but a little bit... I don't know why it kind of suddenly broke loose there. I was just about to say nice things about this, and then all of a sudden it spins. So far, so good. There seems to be an aero imbalance, maybe just a bit too much front downforce. Which means that upcoming, like, full throttle right-hander up there is gonna be a bit scary, maybe. Okay, managed it. With just really small steering inputs. Early on the brakes before that chicane, but I'd rather be a little bit early than a little bit too late. To 28.24. Okay, so that'll be the first time of an actual competitor. Okay. Nice catch, thanks. Although I'm probably a bit late on that one. Hang on. Tez, just so you can... This is your car here. It did a 228.241. Welcome to the stream, and thanks for tuning in, Tez, by the way. Oh, you might have to leave midstream. Ah, that sucks. Next is the Brixley Banshee V10 THR. Are you on the spreadsheet, Tez? I don't see you there. Okay. Okay. Well, yeah, we don't have a reference because these two other cars that I've driven before, I drifted them because they were effectively drift cars. They had no chance anyway. Okay, gotta brake a little bit earlier with this one. Let's brake here. This one has a viscous limited slip diff, which and I've learned this. Why is it so echoey? That's at the start of the lap because you have the pit lane nearby, and so the sound kind of resonates off of that, just like if you were in a tunnel. It echoes off the walls there. I mean, as you can hear at this stage of the level, for example, it doesn't echo, and that's why. This is not a heavy car, but the problem with this one is that it only has a viscous diff, and the problem with that is, unfortunately, in BeamNG, like the amount of slip that you get from the different diffs that you can choose in automation varies depending on how much tire grip there is. So with a viscous diff, if you were, for example, on hard tires, you could get this thing sideways very easily. But because this has, 305s and sports tires, the viscous diff doesn't allow for any kind of slip, whereas an electric diff might. So yeah, so it's a bit weird in that regard. Yeah, 229.9 is not bad. Next is the Bougie Gin, which is probably going to be one of the top contenders here, because it did come second last time. Lighter and slower. Yeah, that's simply because of the diff, I think. I was free burning in Paradise City and lost track of time. I get you. Like, it's easy to lose time in Paradise City. A little bit late on the brakes there. Let's brake a little bit earlier. So let's brake, let's say, here. It was almost perfect. A little bit early this time, but... This just pulls so hard once you get it out of the corner. You don't get much of that turbo lag at all. What's really helping is the fact that it just revs so damn high, so even when you're at like the middle of its RPM, even when you're like in the middle of its rev band, that's still like 5,000 RPM. And as you can see in the power and torque graph on the left, 5,000 RPM, you still got max boost there, so... This looks like it could be a good lap. If I don't mess up the braking point again. Oh, not enough downforce there apparently. Or just slightly off on the balance, couldn't quite take that flat out. .689. We have a new leader. I don't like the fancy wings, they don't seem very efficient to me. But you know, automation, so it doesn't matter. Indeed, yeah. Are the brakes bad? No. They're good on this one. And of course the downforce helps as well. Yeah, there is basically no lag with this one, even though this is a heavily turbocharged engine. But I think one of the main competitors to this car is coming right up, and it's the Century Prometheus Supersport by Teacup. I can't tune turbos to save my life, so all my latest builds have been NA. You'll get the hang of it. Man, compared to Aaron's car, the brakes on this seem much worse, but it's probably not the actual brakes themselves, but rather the fact that Aaron has much more downforce than this car has. Perfect braking point there. A little bit late on the brakes there, I'm sorry. And let's brake like here. Small little lift there, but got it turned in okay. A little bit early on the brakes, but again, I'd rather be too early than too late. .218.001. I could have probably gone a few tenths faster maybe with this, but you can say the same thing about Aaron, like neither of them were like inch perfect, but I think both of them were pretty decent and clean laps, so I think it's fair. 218.001. Next is the Falcon Hellfire, and yeah, yeah. This is by far the most powerful car in the field. It has 2,228 horsepower, just as a little reminder. But of course, because it's only rear-wheel drive, you can't really drive it. If you're on boost for even a split second too long, the engine will overheat, which is what that warning was over there. If the engine goes over 7,000 RPM, you're probably dead, so... I mean, as you can see, even below 7,000, this has quite a bit of grunt. Because it is, after all, a 10.2 liter turbocharged engine. Yep, just peaked over 7,000 just for a split second there, and you saw what happened. That time it did actually only go over 7,000 when I was shifting, so no harm done there. But when you're in gear and you go over 7,000, you're dead. Nothing in the world will save you then. I'm legitimately trying to drive this car here, guys. No, this car cannot be drifted. This car cannot be drifted because if you want to drift a car, sure, it has to be easy to kick the tail out, but it also has to be controllable once you do get into a slide, and this just isn't. Because it's not so much a slide, it's just gonna spin immediately. Spin category. Oh, this is way worse than any TVR. Because with a TVR you can at least rev out a certain gear at least once. With this, if you do it once, you're dead. Either from the engine blowing up or from you know, spinning at spinning off the track at like 100 miles an hour. Because this thing is geared to like, you know, 120, 130 kilometers an hour or something like that in first gear. I mean, as you could see there, the acceleration, even when you do stay below 7,000 RPM, is still far from bad. So this is still a quick car. In the straights, but of course, with a big engine comes lots of weight, and so this is far and away the heaviest car in the competition. And because the engine is in the middle, most of that weight is over one axle, and so it's not exactly well balanced. Yep, the turbo overheated just from that little bit right there. 229.993. I'm actually surprised I managed to finish with this at all. Yeah. That's the Falcon Hellfire, by the way, yeah. Okay, good, there we go. Next is the Gilbert 539R, which did pretty damn well last time. With big engine comes big problem. Yeah, or with big power comes big responsibility, and yeah. With this one, you can at least use the power sometimes. In like third or fourth gear. The map just got very laggy there. I don't know if that came across on video as well. I'm gonna reset this run. Understeery boy, oh no. This does not understeer very much at all. Either it's me being late on the brakes, like right there. But yeah, understeer is not something that this car is particularly prone to do. It's actually got very well balanced suspension, it's just that the engine is a bit too much. And a little bit too peaky as well, like if you were to take it a little bit easier on the turbo. Make it spool up a bit faster and then like limit max boost so that it would still make like 700 maybe 750 horsepower. I think it could handle that. I didn't dare stare on the loud pedal there through that fast right-hander because as you could probably see for yourself, it tried to get away from me once I did slowly feed it back in. So at full throttle I may have spun there at like 230 kilometers an hour or whatever I was doing. 226.938. Whew. Cars with big turbo lag are having trouble on this track. Yeah, not just on this track, but I think on this one in particular, because there are so many kind of like long drawn out corners that, you know, where you want to gradually feed it in. And then when you're doing that and you just hit the spike, boom, you're gone. Yeah, making the turbos a little bit smaller and limiting boost so you have a more even torque curve and not as much lag. And then also just less peak power, because it just can't put down over 1,000 horsepower with front engine rear-wheel drive. Next up, we've got the Ibis Banshee. Whoa, okay. What is that aggressive turn in? Jesus. Too much front downforce, maybe? Indeed, the smiley car. Both front and rear, actually. And apparently it scrapes on the floor. But then again, nobody buys supercars for the practicality, right? Running a bit wide there, but that was me. It does seem to have too much front downforce, because once you go above a certain speed and you turn, it just wants to spin. It doesn't do that in the slower corners, as we've seen in the first bit of the track. But there as well, on that slight little right kink, Now this is actually something I learned from Teacup, but apparently BeamNG doesn't care so much about what you put on the downforce sliders in automation, but rather wing size matters more in terms of how much downforce you actually get in BeamNG. And so if you've got a big front splitter, then you have lots of front downforce that may cause problems like on this car. And so if you just reduce the size of that in the fixtures tab of automation, you can reduce the effective front downforce of the car in BeamNG. Try not to spin here. I said let's try not to spin. Yeah, and my own testing and experimentation seems to confirm that as well. Like, that is the only thing that holds me back from actually really recommending this car, I guess, or really praising this car is like in the slower speeds is good, and the engine feels nice and powerful. Okay, not the most powerful, but it definitely gets a move on, let's just put it that way. Suspension seems otherwise nicely balanced, brakes are good. The only problem it has is too much front downforce, so you can't go as quickly as you'd want through higher speed corners because you'll just spin. Yeah, I mean, the principal problem we've got there is that you just have two different games and also, you know, two different game engines. Let's not forget about that. So the calculations that you that automation makes for its stats may well be, you know, sound and correct. But BeamNG handles things just differently, and so the values you get in one might not, or do not, perfectly translate into the other game. The easiest example for that is like acceleration numbers. Because cars tend to be quicker in BeamNG than they are in automation, especially when you run them on like the drag strip where you've got the sticky tarmac. Cars are usually much faster there, especially rear-wheel drive cars. But even on regular tarmac, with a good launch, normally you can get a better 0 to 100 kilometers an hour time in BeamNG than what automation spits out. So for example, I don't know if you've seen it on my Discord, but I've made a sort of GT3 race car recently, and that in automation shows me a 0 to 100 kilometers an hour time of 3.0 seconds, alright? 3.0. I took it to the drag strip where, as I said, you have the sticky tarmac, and it did 2.0 seconds 0 to 100. Too flat. So despite the problems and me not going flat out through that fast right-hander in order to not spin, this is still a very good time here from the Ibis Banshee, 225.905. Next we have the KPS KR12 GT. That is by ABG7. I was messing around with some with drag racing a while ago, and in automation it said 8.8. In Beam it did 7.1. Yeah, I mean that must have been one hell of a drag car. Why didn't I go? I was looking at chat, but I mean a 7.1 in BeamNG. That's gotta be one hell of a car. Okay, so the brakes on this one aren't as good as in some other cars, it seems. Got a brake earlier. Still late there, or rather I kinda thought I was too early, then kinda lifted the brakes and then started braking again, and that's why it looked like I was too late on the brakes, but I was actually probably right on with my first intuition there. Understeer though with this one, that's the predominant handling characteristic, unfortunately. Not what you want from your V12 supercar, is it? Nearly 1000 horsepower naturally aspirated inline 6. Wow. Probably very light too, wasn't it? Not enough downforce to take that flat out, unfortunately. So yeah, there's a couple of key takeaways with this one. Needs more front grip, better brakes, and more downforce. 229.902 for the KPS KR12 GT. Next is the Marussia MA4S by Random41. Super thin tires. Yeah, I mean, you can post it on Discord, like in Automation General, so that more people can check it out. Ah, too late on the brakes. This did well though. Up until that point. And it did well last time as well, it came 5th. So... So let's brake rack here. It's a little bit unstable on the braking, apparently. I'm still on Windows 10, I haven't switched to Windows 11 yet, and I don't know if I will. I was thinking of making the switch to Linux, but while BeamNG does run on Linux, and automation can also work through Linux, the one thing you would be missing out with automation would be all of the mods on a workshop. And automation without mods at this stage, I don't know if I want to do that. Brakes have started making noises there, so we're gonna start getting brake fade soon. Let's not lose it now. $224.8 flat, and just as the front brakes were about to give up. Very good time here, actually. This is, what, 3rd place as of right now? Wait, hang on. How much more do we have to go? No, yours is up next. The Falcon did already run, and what was the time it did? At 229.993. So obviously the big problem with the Falcon is, of course, that you can't use all of the engine, and I tried my best to kind of get as much out of it before it spins, but obviously I I had to I had to give it a good couple of attempts with the Falcon, and ultimately that's the time I got a 229.993. I was actually early on the brakes there. I could have braked later there. Way later. Okay, that was too late. Alright, too much power, I'll take it down next time. Yeah, maybe a little bit less than 2,200 horsepower would have been adequate. Whenever I drive this car, I'm like, oh crap, I'm too late on the brakes, and then nope, still fine. Same there, I had the same feeling. I was like, oh, that's too late. This is gonna be among the top cars yet again. Nobody saw that. $218.522. Very, very good car. Yeah, indeed. The power comes all at once. And it's like, the thing is, I think I showed this last stream as well, but Logorius with the Falcon, I think at 3000 RPM you already have like 800 Newton meters of torque. So it's by no means slow when you keep it in the low RPMs. But of course, when you exceed 7000, that is where the big boost comes in from those turbos, and that's where it's just completely out of control. There's nothing you can do at that point. 7000 RPM and you're dead. This is the Micron V6T by Harmless. Which is really, really fast, but it doesn't have ABS. Yeah, so am I really gonna get... Let's try that again. Am I really gonna do this all lap? I mean, I know the TVR Tuscan that I mentioned in the inspirations didn't have ABS, but... And I actually, neither did the Mosler, now that I think about it, but the Ford GT did. The fact that this came 8th with no ABS last time. I mean, the suspension setup is, from what I can tell, pretty damn good, and the engine is powerful. Very powerful, in fact. It's just that you can't brake nearly as late as with a car with ABS. I thought I was in third, and so I downshifted twice. Then I ended up in neutral. $226.637. Still a respectable time. And again, don't mind that P1 there. That's not an actual competitor here. That's a different car. Next is the Miranda Cosmopolitan, and I'm not going to read out the full name of this thing. I'm surprised how well I'm doing with so little power. Well, you've got like 600 horsepower. That's plenty. Alright, see ya, DJ. Well, it does have a lot of downforce, which is very noticeable on braking. Doesn't seem to have the right aero balance and not enough front downforce to take that one corner flat out. 227.635. 11th place for now, but there is, you know, one car in here that's not in the competition. My car is in there, and I think at least one of the disqualified cars are in there as well. So maybe even both of them. So this is in a better position than 11th right now. It's like 7th or 8th right now. But this one right here, this is what we've all been waiting for, isn't it? The Never Gonna Give You Up by I'm KR. So I don't know how this is gonna compare, because like it's gonna be between this Aaron's car and Teacup's car, right? I mean, these three are gonna. And actually, DJ's car did very, very well here as well. And on the last track as well, to be fair. So these four are kind of running away with it, and far beyond anything else. And that was way too early on the brakes. I can brake later. Can't quite brake that late though. Pretty much perfect right there. This thing is just not only so fast, but also so grippy and so easy. Super duper stable, very easy to drive. Easy flat through there. And there's the 216.853. There's the lead once again. Wow. Like, I can't say too, like, I really can't say enough positive things about this car. It's really, really fast, very easy to drive. We've already driven this, the Osni, so next is the TMC Taipan. The only negative about the car is obviously its name, but, you know. Gonna use what he uses to drive test. Do you mean like setup wise, a wheel or a controller or something like? I'm pretty sure he's got a wheel. Let's try this again. Very good brakes on the TMC, but kind of a middle of the corner push before it eventually kicks the tail out. So it's a little bit deceptive, because when you start rolling in the throttle, it starts to understeer a little bit, but then when you roll in the throttle further, that's when it starts to kick the tail out, so you gotta be careful. Oh. Okay. No front arrow on this one apparently, so we gotta take that corner at a lower speed. Alright, decent split time there. This is still a fast time, dude. 2:22.412. Wow. Well done. This one was by Luke T. Da Boss, by the way. And this is what, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sixth place for now. Very good. Like it came 9th last time, I think, so it's gonna do a little bit better this time. Next is the Ultratica Veria X 2004 by Costco. Alright, so this doesn't have an electric diff either, which is why when you put the power down, it just kind of keeps on steering. It doesn't kick the tail out whatsoever, so I feel like this is probably a geared diff though, whereas what we saw on the Brixley Banshee, that was a viscous diff, and the you can tell the difference because yes, both of them won't power oversteer on exit, but the viscous diff is going to do a worse job distributing the power between the wheels, so it's going to understeer, whereas the geared diff will not understeer nearly as much. $227.578. That's 13th place right now, which I believe should be around 10th, actual 10th place at the moment. So right around where the points are going to be decided. Next is the UMC Sidewinder, which came third to last on the previous track, and it also had big issues with oversteer, if I remember correctly. So this was basically a mid-engine drift car, which I don't mind, but let's see it again. Okay. So it wants to go sideways, as we've seen. It's already got brake fade at the first corner. That's not a good sign. Again, I'm continuing because this wouldn't have anything to do with the top spots or even points anyway, so. I'm continuing shamelessly here. Let's not go that fast because, again, we can't really brake. Did avoid the barrier there. I've never seen this much brake fade on any car before. So while this may have set... no, actually... the Osoni Max Q set the negative record for the slowest time around the track. This set the record for the most brake fade ever. And next up is the Wells Vendetta. And the Wells Vendetta is by Deuce the Truth, okay? Already heard the noise for brake fade, so while it didn't show up yet, it's not far away. So let's brake nice and early as a result. There it is. Yeah, I mean, with a higher revving engine, you can be on boost for longer. So that's... I'm kind of scared of the chicane that's coming up. Yeah, just couldn't brake. It sucks to lose it just so close before the finish line. The suspension setup actually appears pretty much spot on. It has very little, if any, understeer. It could use a little bit of aero for those faster corners, but in the slow and mid-speed stuff, it's good. Brake bias seems to be too far rearward as well, which is why the tail is coming around. .231.39. Alright, and we only got one more car left. And that's the WMC Deny, because we already drove the Volhabend earlier. And drifted the crap out of it. How do you quell brake fade? You could try like brake ventilation on the arrow tab. That tends to help. So if you have, for example, if you're at 0 right now, just assuming it's at 0, then just putting it to 20 or 30, that should already help. I think they're still gonna fade somewhat in your case, because they did start fading very early into the lap. But you know, that should already make quite a difference there. Apart from that, yeah, bigger brakes or increasing the brake pad type, so setting it more towards race than towards comfort, can also help. Yeah, no problem. That's what I like this community. That's what I like about this community here. Like we're all enjoying automation. We have varying levels of experience. Some people are better at one thing, some people are better at the other thing, and we can just help each other out, and that benefits everyone. And I'm glad that we have such a helpful and nice community here. And I'm of course trying to match that as well. So let's see, WMC deny. Not quite flat out there. Two 227, 228, 229, 230.032. Ha! The same number. Like if you read it backwards, it's also 230.032. But unfortunately, I don't think that's quite enough to score today. So this means so race 2 result is here, and then boom. This means the Never Gonna Give You Up takes yet another race victory, so it's at a perfect 40 out of 40 score right now. The Bougie Jin takes second place yet again, and the Century Prometheus Supersport is third again. Fourth place again goes to the Mavo MR5 KR, so very good effort once more. And then we have the TMC Taipan, actually coming in fifth this time. Very, very good. And then we have the Marussia, then the Ibis Banshee, then the Micron V6T, which scored again despite no ABS. Like that thing, if this had ABS, I'm confident in saying that this would have been at least 4 or 5 seconds faster here. You know, it would be interesting to say, like, for a race like this way, you did a part 2 where people could retune their cars and race again. I did something similar with the Weekend Race Car Challenge, if you were around for that earlier this year, so like 2 months ago or something like that, where after the actual competition, I would take 3 cars that I felt were sort of middle or mid-bottom of the pack, but I felt like they had more potential, and then I went to tweak them, and they turned out to be much better afterwards. So I could do something like that again with some of these cars. So that was the Micron. Next was the Gilbert 539R. Here it was too much of a traction issue. Last time it did better. And then running out the top 10 was the Ultratica Veria X 2004 from Costco. All right. Yeah, thanks for watching. We're pretty much bang on 2 hours in. Of course, the third and final race will be tomorrow at 6 p.m. Central European Standard Time. And that'll conclude the series. It looks like a pretty comfortable victory for IMKR right now. He's leading by 8 points before the final race, and I don't think that lead is going anywhere. I don't think that anyone's gonna catch him, because 8 points is just too much. I can't see him not coming in the top 8. Like, I can see him maybe not winning the last race, maybe, but he's not gonna come like 10th. Let's just be honest. The car is way too good for that. Okay, but anyway, I still hope you enjoyed, and if you did, don't forget to click like. That really helps with the YouTube algorithm, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye. Thanks for watching.